Hey guys, Christian Apostle here, and today I'll be teaching you how you can use push-ups to build muscle and get jacked. So in my first 6 months of training, I was working at home, meaning that I had to rely on push-ups, pull-ups, and dips as my primary exercises to build muscle. Out of those three, push-ups were definitely the exercise that I performed the most, and I can attribute a lot of my physique progress to them. Now, some people think that the push-up is a useless exercise and that other movements like the bench press and dumbbell press are superior exercises to build the upper body. However, when performed correctly, push-ups can be one of the best tools you have to build muscle and get stronger. This is because they can be done anywhere without any need for equipment and can be performed in a variety of ways to target different muscle groups. In this video, I'll tell you the mistakes that you're probably making that limit you from building muscle with push-ups and also techniques and strategies that you can use to fix these mistakes. Okay, so let's start with number 1. The main reason why push-ups don't have the best reputation for building muscle is because most people perform them with the wrong approach. They do hundreds of reps, usually with subpar form, with focus on the quantity of the reps over the quality, and they wonder why they're not building much muscle. The first issue with this is the high rep range. Now, even though you can build muscle with rep ranges of 30 and up, it's far less efficient than doing lower rep ranges such as 6 to 12. It also brings limiting factors that can affect your ability to hit true muscular failure, such as lactic acid buildup, limited cardiovascular endurance, and the mental strength needed to do such a high amount of reps. This high rep range also often leads people to focus on the volume over the quality of the reps. They sacrifice their form to be able to do more push-ups. This is obviously a big mistake for those training for hypertrophy, as it leads to decreased muscle activation, suboptimal muscle tension, and an increased risk of injury. One of the most common form errors that people make is performing push-ups with a limited range of motion, only going partially down or not fully extending their arms at the top. This reduces the overall tension placed on the working muscles and limits their growth potential. So instead of chasing repetitions, have the deliberate intention to get the most out of every single rep that you do. Another form error that often results from focusing on quantity over quality is overly relying on momentum. Using momentum to power through your push-ups can diminish the effectiveness of the exercise for muscle growth. It reduces time under tension, limits muscle activation, and decreases the emphasis on the eccentric phase. To optimize muscle growth, focus on controlled and deliberate movements, maintaining tension in the target muscles throughout the entire range of motion. By prioritizing proper form, muscle activation, and time under tension, you can enhance the stimulus for muscle growth during push-ups and achieve optimal results. Now, probably the biggest reason why people don't build much muscle from doing the push-up is because of this one thing. They don't treat it like their other hypertrophy movements. You wouldn't do sets of 30 or more on bench press, or stay on the same weight forever and just try to increase the number of reps you can do. You would use weight that you can perform for around 6 to 12 reps and try to increase the weight that you lift over time. This exact same approach can be applied to the push-up. With weighted push-ups, this is quite simple. Just increase the amount of weight you're using. But even without additional weight, there are many ways to make the push-up more difficult and decrease the number of reps that you can do. For one, if you had perfect form like I talked about before, slowing down the speed of your reps, and maybe even adding a pause at the bottom, the difficulty of the push-up will go up significantly. Now, if that gets too easy and you can do 20 or more reps with perfect form, start doing harder variations, such as the archer push-up and the decline push-up. One of my favorites has to be the simple change of having my hands further back and closer to my waist. I can normally get around 50 push-ups, but with this adjustment, doing 12 becomes difficult. There are probably hundreds of variations of the push-up that range from very easy to extremely difficult, and you can just pick the variation that suits your current strength level. A good rule of thumb to use is that if you can perform more than 20 reps of that variation, it's time to add weight or move to a harder variation. A bonus of implementing variations is that you can target different muscle groups with different variations. For example, if you look in the mirror and see that your triceps are lacking compared to your chest, you can do diamond push-ups or close grip push-ups to target your triceps. Or if you want to grow your shoulders, implementing pike push-ups or handstand push-ups will help to do that. And in this way, push-ups can be used to build an aesthetic physique, as you can sculpt the proportions of your physique through targeted variations. In summary, in order to use push-ups to build the most amount of muscle possible, have good form focusing on quality over quantity, and apply progressive overload through either adding weight or doing more challenging variations. You essentially want to treat it like how a bodybuilder would treat his weighted movements. Using a slower tempo with good form, doing around 6 to 12 reps till failure, and progressively overloading by making the lift more difficult over time. Most people doing push-ups are doing the exact opposite, using a way too fast tempo with bad form, doing 30 plus reps, and not applying any means of progressive overload other than chasing more repetitions. So if you don't do that and instead you follow this video's advice, you should be building muscle from the push-up in no time. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more helpful fitness content like this. Also, if you want my personal workout routine, which helped me go from this to this, it'll be the top link in the description below. See you in the next video.